Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm loving life freely on YouTube here, along with my other platforms. And today we're just going to have a sit-down chat about one of those topics that is just going rampant between Instagram, YouTube videos, the Whatnot community, the Poshmark community, and that is the differences between Whatnot and Poshmark. Poshmark lives right now, there is so much going on with all that. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I also watch a lot of Whatnot auctions. I'm doing my own auctions, and there is a lot of talk in the community, y'all. YouTube videos about Poshmark and their lives. Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? And them compared to Whatnot. For starters, let me give you a heads up. I am not on Poshmark Live, so I don't have a personal experience with it, but I've watched a few of their live auctions. I've also know people who are on YouTube that have done live auctions and had these conversations. And I've watched other videos about people discussing, read a lot of comments about Poshmark Lives, have read feedback on people's thoughts on it. I think my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, I would love all y'all's feedback on this. My understanding is that Poshmark Lives were only offered to those people primarily who've been to like Poshmark, their shows. You know, when they do their yearly shows and you go and do your Poshmark events, that was opened up mainly to people who've done those shows and were offered the opportunity to start the lives. And it's kind of in a tester phase. It is in a tester phase. And again, there's been so much talk about it, and they went live with their shows quite a bit after Whatnot did. Before I dive into the differences between Whatnot and Poshmark, I have done Whatnot auctions, and I will tell you, even though I have not done Poshmark Lives, even if I was invited to do Poshmark Lives, I would probably not do them for very specific reasons versus Whatnot and the auctions that I am doing over there that are going well, and I'm building up my community over there, partially because of the fees. And that's actually one of the items on the Poshmark versus Whatnot we're going to discuss today. So let's dive into that. Since I just discussed the fees, let's talk about that compared to Whatnot for starters. And again, I would love y'all's feedback at the end of this. This is specifically focused on this topic here today for this video. So the fees for Poshmark, if you are a seller on Poshmark, you already know this. If you are a buyer on Poshmark, you may not. But on Poshmark, if you sell $15 or more, it's a 20% fee. If you sell $15 or less in a sale, they automatically take $3 off of the item that you have sold. So say, for example, it's $10. You sold your item for $10. They automatically take $3 off of that $10 for the Poshmark fee. So even if you sell it for $5, they automatically take $3 off. So you get $2 off of that $5 sale. It's not 20%, it's $3, which is huge. Even 20% at $15 plus is still pretty big in my opinion. I think 20% Poshmark fee is steep. Compared to the other platforms, I do think that is steep. So when they're doing their auctions, my understanding is that when they sell something, regardless of what they sell it for, because a lot of these people are starting them at $5. Like I said, I've watched a few of them, and a lot of these people are starting them at least $5, okay? So if they do sell that at $5, depending on what their COG was, and Poshmark still automatically takes their $3 fee off of the top of that, how in the world are those people making any sort of profit? Because even if their COG was only $1, that does not leave a lot for you to go on. Versus Whatnot, we'll go into that in a minute. On Whatnot, my opinion on Whatnot, you're able to start your auction on Whatnot at any price bracket. Now, if you haven't been on Whatnot yet, I do like Whatnot fees. They only charge 8% for Whatnot fee, and then it's a 2.9% for the processing fee for the order, and it's a 0.30 cents per order, per item that you sell, So roughly you're looking at maybe total 13% fees. So you got the 8%, 3%, plus 30 cents. So I like to just round it up to 13% is what I just automatically think in my brain to accommodate for that 30 cents too. I automatically round it up to 13%. It's going to be my fees on Whatnot for anything that I sell off of what I'm doing. I chose not to do the $1 auctions. I did one like that, and I did get rid of some old inventory. But I have noticed that a lot of people are saying if you don't want to do the $1 auctions to actually make a profit, start them at 5. And that has actually been working great for me. So I'm actually still, depending on my COG, I'm still kind of getting rid of inventory, making a little bit of profit while I'm building my community. You can't really do that on Poshmark because their fee is so high, even if you started out at $5. Now let's move on to the next thing. And this is something that I was really thinking about yesterday after watching another video on Poshmark Lives, is if you are a buyer on Poshmark, you get notifications for people when they list things. But if you are also getting notifications for the lives now, if you are following a lot of people, which a lot of people do, they follow thousands and thousands of people because that's what Poshmark is. It's a follow community. You are getting inundated with Poshmark Live notices on your phone. I've read so many comments and watched videos and heard so many different people talk about how they are literally getting inundated for Poshmark Live auctioned notifications. I know I sometimes just within a minute or two, I get like 10 notifications just on Poshmark Lives. And that doesn't include that somebody shared my item or somebody liked my item or whatever. And some people are getting really annoyed by it. If you're a buyer, somebody noted about that on her YouTube video yesterday, and I didn't even think about that aspect of it. So if you're a buyer, that could be possibly very frustrating. And she did note that in her video about how it's possible, some people may stop following you because the only way to disrupt or to discontinue those notifications for the lives is literally to unfollow the person. People have looked into it already, and there's no way to do that unless you unfollow the person that you're getting the live notifications from, which means you're now no longer knowing when they're listing things. So that could also slow sales down if people start choosing to do that. The other thing is the Poshmark live auctions, because things are going so cheap. I've watched people doing what sold videos and also just the videos on Poshmark Lives. And people are noticing that there's just been a huge dump in sales for regular sales, which means they're not getting nearly the sales they were getting. We already know that Poshmark went through a spurt the last several months with issues with the way they changed their algorithm. So many people were talking about how they have lost so many sales because of it. And now if they're going to lose sales also because people are doing auctions. And the other aspect of that is I have heard so many people on videos and comments talk about how they're getting so many lowball offers on Poshmark now because people are doing lives. And they're expecting now to be able to just throw out a lowball offer on a regular sale, and hopefully that Poshmark seller is just going to take $5 for an item instead of what they were asking for, or maybe send them like a 20% offer or a 10% offer, which is reasonable for a listing. So it's killing sales, guys. People either aren't buying from them because they're just going over to the auctions, or they're sending really lowball offers on items to people who are listing on Poshmark and selling. So that is another thing that has been a really huge thing on Poshmark as far as the community, people talking about as sellers, that has been a problem. Okay, my other issue with, and I haven't sold on Poshmark Lives like I've said, but I've listened to other people who've done YouTube videos and have comments, is that when you sell on Poshmark Live, they do not yet have the ability to bundle items. When you sell on live on Whatnot, if you buy one item and then you buy other items from that same buyer, Whatnot automatically puts your items in a bundle under their seller dashboard. You pay the full price for the first item, And then they give you discounted shipping on the next item that you buy from them. And it automatically books all those items that you buy from that seller. So when they go to sell, to ship out your item, Whatnot automatically registers that discounted shipping on those items, and it automatically books all those items in one order for you. So that Whatnot buyer, all they have to do is go through, pull your items from their rack, and put it in a box, and it ships out to you. On Poshmark, my understanding is that they have to actually go through and cancel the listing that you purchased from, and then bundle all those items together for you to make another regular sale. So they have to cancel every single item. So if you say, for example, you bought 5 or 10 items, for example, from somebody, they have to go through and cancel those 10 items or whatever, and then take all those items and put them in a bundle on Poshmark, and then send that out to you and do it that way. That is a lot of work, and I know because I've heard some other Poshmark sellers who are doing these lives that have had multiple sales from one buyer. They've had to go through and cancel all those orders and then regroup all those items that they bought onto another listing and ship it out that way. And it takes a lot of time and a lot of extra work for those Poshmark sellers to do those bundles for you so that you can do that and not pay the extra shipping on the items. Now let's get to the shipping. That's another step in Poshmark. I personally feel in Poshmark, whether it's alive or not, that Poshmark should update to doing adjusted shipping. What I mean by that, all other platforms, including Whatnot, your shipping is based on the weight of the item. So if your item is a certain weight, it accommodates for that weight. Now I know Poshmark kind of has, my understanding is that they charge more for shipping, because if you have an extra weight item and it weighs more, then you can accommodate for that because they give up to 5 pounds. My opinion is, though, after being a seller now for some time, people don't do a lot of bundling on Poshmark like they used to. So you're paying what $7.80 or whatever it is for the shipping on one item, unless you get discounted shipping from the seller. You're paying that per item unless you do a bundle amount. It's the same thing when you're doing your Poshmark lives. Per item, unless they are willing to bundle those and go through all that effort for you like I just talked about, you're paying that $7 and some odd shipping per item on a Poshmark live. On Whatnot, like I said, when you buy your first item, you pay full price for that first piece. The Poshmark automatically gives you discounted shipping on your other items after that. And on Poshmark, when you're even just doing a regular listing, the listings aren't based on weight. For example, if I have an item that's only 8 ounces that I'm selling on Poshmark, it's still automatically that $7.50 or whatever it is per for shipping. On other platforms that I list on, it's regulated according to the weight of the item. So you may only be paying $3.50, $4, maybe $5 or $6 on something that costs less than a pound. And then of course they adjust accordingly, especially on eBay. They adjust according to the weight for the item. So you're literally only paying weight for that item, not then some and more. So that I may be ruffling edges on this one for the shipping, but that's kind of how I feel about shipping. So that is an issue on Poshmark for the lives. Whatnot, you don't have to worry about that. And even on Whatnot, what a lot of the sellers are doing, including myself, is they are, when they do their auctions, they're presenting the lighter items, or they're putting items in buy it now for lighter piece items that you can purchase at really, really, really low shipping cost. So that if you want to buy something on their item, on their auction that is a heavier weight, you can purchase the smaller weighted items first and then have discounted shipping on the heavier items, which has been doing really, really great. You can't really do that on Poshmark, which is a bummer. So let's move on to the next thing. Lack of bundling. Okay, another thing is community. Guys, I've been on some of the Poshmark auctions. I haven't done too many of them because I do Whatnot auctions while I'm busy doing my own listings and my own business. And I purchased a lot of things on Whatnot auctions too. I haven't done anything on Poshmark because I don't want to pay the shipping for the items on Poshmark. To be honest with you, I won't buy on Poshmark lives, and I'm not trying to be rude, but I want to pay that amount of shipping on a small piece for an auction when I'm paying so little for the item. That's just for me. On Whatnot, depending on the item, I'm not paying that much in shipping. And if I do buy something that's heavier in shipping, I'm okay with doing that because it's a heavier item. Okay, so anyway, and I just like the things that are being sold on Whatnot. But the community, let me say this. I'm going to go into two things about the community over there. One, on Poshmark, you cannot go onto somebody else's platform and like them and support them and bookmark them. You can't really do that on Poshmark. That's my understanding. If I'm wrong, please do correct me in the comments below whether or not you can do that. But from what I've seen in the Poshmark lives that I've been in, they do not support each other in communities. Like when I'm on Whatnot or I'm on other auctions on Whatnot, if you have a show going on and you ask the person who's doing the current show if you can advertise your Whatnot, say a show that's going on, if they're okay with you supporting it, marketing it on their show, which a lot of sellers do, I know I do, you can actually go into that person's name, bookmark their shows, like them, give them follows, and support them in the community and be a big time help to that person on their shows that they're supporting and they're doing, especially if they're a new person. My understanding is you can't do that on Poshmark. Like I said, I've been on a few shows. You can't do that on Poshmark. I've been on Poshmark community and there's not a lot of interaction. People do talk and communicate, but it's basically and mainly about the items and maybe chit chat a little bit. But on Whatnot, the community and conversation is so vast. People do so much connecting and communicating and again, talking about their shows. And if you are trying to get to a certain number of follows and somebody's running a show and somebody goes on the live chat, hey, I'm close to 500, can I get some likes? People will literally go onto that person and the person running the auction, hey guys, go follow that person on that live, go give them some follows, let's support them, they're new people, they're trying to hit a goal, let's make this happen for them. And literally within that show, that person will reach that followers goal. Or, hey, I've got, some bookmarks going on. It's just really cool how people interact and support each other in the Whatnot auctions. And I love that sense of community. I love supporting people in that community. I love allowing that on my shows, and I love seeing that on Whatnot shows that I'm involved in. So the sense of community and Whatnot is massive. I have also heard from other people who are doing auctions and YouTube videos that do both Whatnot and Poshmark auctions. And I'm going to be really honest with you, they have shared very openly that they prefer the Whatnot auctions over the Poshmark auctions because of a lot of things that I'm talking about. Community, the shipping, the bundling, the fees and all that. There's been a lot of people who actually sell on Poshmark that have been kind of frustrated with how things are going just because of these specific things. So that's just kind of my 2 cents worth. I've enjoyed Poshmark, but I've been kind of on the fence about continuing with them. My husband does not like the fees on Poshmark. Again, all the other platforms are so much lower in their fees. And to be honest, I've been on Poshmark for some time now. I sell more on other communities, other platforms. And I always do. That's another thing about Poshmark. Even when you're just selling a regular listing, not just on lives, but regular listing. For me on Poshmark, to generate a lot of sales, you have to typically send out like a 10 to 20% off on an item, plus do discounted shipping is required to do that to get sales going. For me, I can do a sale on my other platforms. It's just so much easier for me. And their takeout fee is 20% compared to the 8 or 13%. 13% on Mercari, 13% on eBay. I don't do all the extra fees for promoting my items. I just do sales on eBay and I make great sales there and I'm continuing to grow. So for me, Poshmark has been a bit of a frustration. I loved it when I first started. Poshmark was my first platform. I've been reselling now for just over a year. I've been on multiple platforms and I have found, honestly, out of all of them, Poshmark has been a frustration for me. And since there's been so many other platforms that have come on board, and now the Whatnot community, things have just kind of changed. The dynamic for my business has just kind of changed. I still am selling on Poshmark. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to do it. I am in the process of really vamping up my eBay, vamping up my Whatnot. I'm still on Mercari, and I'm doing that. But it's just been, it's been a roller coaster, to be honest. And there's so many people right now who are just really frustrated with Poshmark without even the lives, because sales have tanked so much. And now with the lives, it's just the dynamic is just changing so much. People are, I've been hearing a lot in the community. It's not just me. Been hearing on YouTube videos and in comments. People are literally just leaving the Poshmark community because they're going to other platforms to sell because they're having a hard time making a living on Poshmark. So with all that said, if you are new here, I hope you enjoyed this. I know that this is unusual content. I hope you didn't feel like I was too harsh. I'm just trying to be really honest about my opinion on this. If you didn't like this video, I'm okay with that. If you loved this video, I'm okay with that. I just wanted to share with you as a reseller, being on multiple platforms, being on Whatnot myself, seeing other Poshmarks and all that stuff. This is just my take as a reseller on everything that's going on, and other people have comments that I've seen, other people giving their opinion on YouTube videos. This is just my take on everything. If you have not subscribed yet, we do unboxings from Helps You Source, ThreadUp, and other places. We also do What Sold. We do videos like this. We do life changes. We do all kinds of things. So if you are new here and you have not given us a follow, we also do 90-day updates and unboxings that I do. So this is a different video for me, but if you would like to see those other types of videos, please do subscribe. If this video was a benefit and a blessing to you, please do give this a thumbs up. Again, I would love to hear from y'all. Feedback in the comments about the content of this video. And guys, until the next one, we'll see you later.